Solomon Willy is a musician and based in Durban at the moment, and music has been a journey for me. I was born in Nigeria, and my family they all based in Nigeria. Some of them I have here in South Africa, and other part of the world. Um, um, yeah, I have my dad still alive today, and my stepmom. My mom passed away. My biological mom passed away in 1994. Um, and yeah, we have a very big happy family at the moment. And my dad is a bishop, a pastor. I'm a pastor's kid. And yeah, I was raised in a Christian background in an interesting neighborhood from city of Warri, in Nigeria, Delta State. It's one place where we have a lot of history when it comes to our music and violence together.
Okay.
It's just interesting place to live in Nigeria, and the most entertaining people as well. The best comedians and entertainers, they're all from that city, Warri. And I've learned so much in my years from my primary school days. Um, I started music from primary school, like growing up as a pastor's kid in the church. I started playing drums at church. Was trained by the drummers who were there, the Mavis, a guy called Mavis that's then, who is one of the best drummers in the city of Warri. They trained me on drums, and after that I decided to know I want to learn keyboard. I went on keyboard. After that I want to learn bass. I went on bass guitar. But because of my dad's church, there were nobody to play the lead guitar, and there were a lot of good bass players, good pianists, and good drummers. My dad advised me that it would be nice for you to learn this guitar. We had a lot of guitars at home that I destroyed growing up, acoustic guitars. I do my movies with them and broke them when I watching these rock movies. Rock musicians do their thing. I broke most of the acoustic guitars. So there was one Fender guitar in the house, and my dad told me this should be good for you if you can learn this. You will. I think you have a lot. You will excel on it because there are few people. There's no one playing it in the church right now, and I took it. I took it up, and he introduced me to some musician who my mom was their sponsor to those musicians. My mom is, they call them the group called Milk and Honey, and the director was called Ruben, and my mom asked my dad asked that guy to teach me, and then he taught me. They played traditional music, so he taught me for a while, and I learned the traditional way how to play traditional gospel music. Because that band was a traditional gospel band, so they taught me how to play this traditional gospel music, which they call ABO, Robo ABO music. So I learned that guitar, and I played at church. I was well allowed. Everyone was excited to see me play, and they liked because the guitar was the main sound in that kind of music. And I said then in that city, and I had a good privilege to be better my skills because I was alone, playing alone. I was the only guitarist, so my mistakes and all, I had the opportunity to make mistakes and learn. And most of the time, my pianist will not be available at church because they do a lot of gigs. They play with a lot of big musicians, and I will have the opportunity to play, and good or bad, church will accept it. So that's where I grew. I got a platform to grow because I was allowed to make mistakes. That nobody is going to stop me. I didn't actually study formally at first. I studied that I played those traditional music for a long time. After that, I started to improve in church because now we started to play. Also, I started to play with the choir where they were doing also good American English music and other Nigerian praise. And I started to learn chords that are relevant to those kind of music. And yeah, we did all that's like playing I Am a Friend of God. Those kind of music. I started to play those chords and knowing getting the vibe of other English music for a long time. After that, other bands who play reggae bands, I started to play with them back home, secular bands as well. I started working with them, and I started to improve myself. There's a band called the Blinders in Warri. Those are the big guys who really picked me up, like to mentor me. They trained me to. I started the band as a bass player. I was playing the bass guitar for them, and they played like raga music. And then after that, they realized I can play lead guitar. I told them I play lead guitar, and they said, okay, that would be nice. They got a bass player and they put me on the lead, and they were so happy. Those guys really mentored me personally. Pupa Chris is the guy who really took me in the group and spent time with me to learn Ijaw music. There's a tribe called Ijaw, and that guy plays that Ijaw kind of music and raga and the Ijaw music, and he gave me a lot of lecture, and I became better. He's not a guitarist, but he just makes me to listen. He gave me that ear training that I was able to listen to song and play what I hear. That guy pushed a lot of that into me.
Wow.
Pupa Chris. And then as we were going, after working with Pupa Chris, slowly, because the guys in my band, they all in a church band. They two of them, Mavis and Johnson, the pianist and the drummer. They play with Tony Gray, who was one of the greatest artists of our time in Nigeria, in Warri City as well. And they work with that guy, and then they invited me to come play with them in that band because they don't have guitarists in that band. And that was my skyrocket, my first move to something really great, playing a music that's international standard, from jazz to everything. And then I went in that band. I was the youngest in the band, and like I was getting a mentor. I wasn't playing for the money, even though I was getting good money. I was a student still in primary school, secondary school, about to write my matric. This period really took me, and we would travel everywhere in Nigeria. We don't sleep 7 days. There's gigs Monday till Sunday, and I learned a lot of music. We rehearsed a lot. They taught me so many things. They taught me discipline because you don't play when you don't know. You don't know exactly what what they don't want you to play. You just keep quiet. That's what the discipline they taught me. Like, if you do this, it's not gonna sound well. You keep quiet. You don't know it. Keep quiet. Don't just play if you don't know it. That's the number one rules. We're working with those guys, the way they grew me up. So and they mentored me a lot and made me better. Tony Gray, it was a big pleasure working with that guy. And today I heard is very sick in Nigeria. He's not feeling very well, and I feel sad. We were trying to help and see how we sort the situation out for him and his family. We hope he gets well soon. And yeah, he's one of my mentors. And then yeah, after that, after Tony Gray, I played with all the musicians around there. Tony Kawa, list, I can't even remember the list. So many of them. And then I left in 2000. I did my matric. 2000. I went to 2001. I was in higher institution. Then I left my city for higher institution. Then to me, music then is not my career. It wasn't a career for me, just an hobby. At those times. So 2001, I went to Aushi Polytechnic. So that's when I left my home, my parents' home officially. And then while I was studying in Aushi Polytechnic, I go to Benin to play music most of the time in Benin. Every weekend, I'm in Benin City. In Benin City, there are a lot of jazz clubs there. And then I started to play with my age mate, people who are my friends. We decided we created a band together that we called name of this band. I forgot the name of the band. If I remember, yeah, we used to have in the band there was Franchise, who is now a big hit in Benin City. There was Godwin. It goes by another name I don't know. Also in Benin City, and there was Richard, who also goes by Richie. He also go by a new name, still new stage names, but they've all made hits. back home in Nigeria, in pop music at the moment. Then we used to do all kind of music there in the jazz club. We played at Hexagon in Benin City, Center Plaza, and so many other places in Benin City. So that place grew me up. We played many years in that, doing those things. Premier hotels, they gave us a good platform to play every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was booked in that hotel for 2 years. So from school, when I finished from school, I just go back to music. I didn't go back home. I just go home for visit. But after school, my school days, music took over me. And then I started to work with a lot of musicians like that. But still, in my mind, it's still a hobby. It's just something to give me the funds. I was able to fund myself in school, pay my fees myself, and do things that I need to do. And I thank my dad for something. There's something my dad really put into me. When my dad asked me to learn this guitar, he told me something, that this thing that you look at these guys in our church who plays, the pianist and the drummer. They pay their school fees for varsities and stuff through this music. So if you learn this thing, it's gonna help you. That you might not need me to do things you need to do in life financially, in terms of your school, and just learn from these guys and see what you. And that actually worked for me because I was able to take care of myself during my varsity days. Even though my dad would still give me assistance, and most of the time when they give me fees and all these things, I spend this money at home before I actually leave home with my younger ones. Okay. While I was working in Benin City, my brother called me from South Africa, and while I was still, I finished my studies at school then in Benin City. My brother called me in South Africa and says he wants to leave his business in South Africa and is relocating to London. And if I'm interested in coming to South Africa to do his business. It's like, okay, he's got a clothing shop business. And I was like, okay, I wouldn't mind to do that. But then, and I think I might get a better opportunity just to try something new. And that moment in Nigeria, I was really looking after school, and you just want to be looking for a new life. I was frustrated of where I was anyway. I needed a new change of environment. I wanted to actually relocate to America. And then it says, that opportunity came, I took it, and I okay, let me come here. And I came here, started the business. I joined the business with him. Somehow, I was able to join him to grow the business, and the business grew better than it was before I came here. And then while I was here in South Africa, I would go to the Bad Center for jazz session, open mic session, and also the singing, and I was opportunity to play at the jam session. I think that jam session is the place where people get to know me here in South Africa, because I just went there, and jam session, anyone is allowed to play. It's an open mic, and I told them I could play, and then I went on the stage and played, and guys really enjoyed the music. I played music that are familiar, that I know, South African music that I've played back in Nigeria. I played a jazz tune with these guys here, and they really liked my music. And there's a girl called Sheila, and some other, there was Wanda Kwela, there was a couple of guys in Bonisi, and these guys, they called me. We went to do another performance at the Rainbow Pine Town, and we got peanuts for that day. Precisely, let me say it's 150. It's what I got, 150 rand on our performance day. The money they gave us from Gets Taken, and it was interesting. I liked the show. We had a nice show, packed show, but we got 150. That was 1995, and I went home. I felt like, oh my God, is that the price of payment for South Africa? Then I can't do music here.